Shalom, sweet people. I am Maker Strong. My Maker makes me strong. And I'm here today to deliver a message. And I'm sorry, I really apologize for the raspiness of my voice. Um, so about that, I started having some very lucid dreams a couple of weeks ago. And around that same time is when my voice went out. And so over a week and then another week and then this week goes by and I still have not really shaken this thing completely. And so, sorry. Um, I just felt like I need to go ahead and put this out there. It's not any kind of spiritual attack or anything like that. What's happened is I started drinking this tea with thyme and lemon. And it's really good for breaking up mucus and especially clearing your sinuses. And like even if you did not have a cold or anything like that, there's a lot of mucus in those passageways anyway, and other places in your body. And so when you start drinking that tea, it does a good job of clearing that out. But what happens is you're coughing that up and you're just making your throat raw. And so that's where I'm at with that. Otherwise I feel great. I just don't sound great. And so anyway, I started having these dreams a couple of weeks ago, and they all kind of seem like they're one is a continuation of the other. Now, a lot of times when I lucid dream, I might have one major dream that I remember the next day, and then the next night there's some other crazy thing, but not anything associated with the last. However, for the past couple of weeks, these dreams have gotten clearer, but still diluted in a way because I don't have a clear understanding or understanding of what I can't point to anything directly other than to say that something major is about to happen that is going to force people back inside. And I do believe that it has something to do with the whole fashion situation with Balenciaga. Now, I'm gonna share my screen so you can see something, and I hope it'll come up. Is this it? No, that's not it. Hang on, because I really want you guys to see this. All right, well, for some reason it's not cooperating, and it was before I got on here. It was before I got here. Let's try this. Let me see. There it is. Hopefully you guys can see that. So what this is a fashion show for that brand, and it's set for summer of 23. Now think about these heavy coats, leather coats. We don't need the commercial. And there were some previous to that walked out with shorts and these coats. But what I want you to notice is they're walking around in the mud. Like there's no landscape other than mud all over the place. And For cancer culture to be so prevalent right now, I wonder why this brand hasn't been canceled yet. But I kind of don't wonder because I think my dreams have been kind of tipping me off to um, abductions that have been supported or perpetuated by this brand. And if you'll notice that there was a UFO sighting, and it just so happened to come out the same day that all of these secret papers of, Epstein's dealings and Hunter Biden's computer files, all this stuff was supposed to come out, and then we were all distracted. I've also noticed that as I go down this rabbit hole and do research about this brand and find out disgusting things, so I don't necessarily suggest you dig very deeply unless you are ready to go to spiritual warfare. Um, I mean, if you're gonna just absorb the information and go on, it's not conducive to a pleasant night's sleep. Just saying it that way. Anyway, these powers that be are moving and shaking in ways so that they can keep the power that they have. Many of us are waking up. Many of us are starting to get spiritual downloads. Even people who never dreamed before are dreaming. Even people who never were able to interpret dreams are able to interpret. And some of the most, I guess, people you would never guess would have these abilities and capabilities are awakening with them. New knowledge, deeper understanding, deeper understanding. And so, as I've been breaking up the mucus, my dreams have been clearer. So it's happening in the physical as well as in the spiritual, the metaphysical realm. And so what I've been seeing is like people being taken, and not just young girls, not just young boys, but old people, young people, men, women of every physical condition being taken, and people, their loved ones, being so afraid to even pursue them that they're forced inside, even more so than the vac situation. And these Norfolk accidents with these trains also has something to do with that. Because if you notice, those things are happening in the little outskirts of the major towns. And in those places, a lot of people have their own gardens. Like people who would be able to sustain themselves if something major happened to a major city. They would have chickens in their yard or gardens. And if you notice, they're all happening like just outside of a major populace. So that's like another whole other thing that I kind of got alighted to. But my message to you, I'm trying to keep it short. Don't be afraid. Try to keep your frequencies in that realm of being able to move when you get that information, that insight, that download, because that is going to be your lifeline. If a nuclear bomb hits within 50 miles of your location, You don't have, there's nothing you can do. Duck and cover doesn't work, okay? So I'm hearing these things that they're putting out, it doesn't even make any sense. So I want you guys to kind of realize there are some lifelines out there, but you've got to be in tune spiritually. And I just had a major clash with a narcissist who, it was like, where is this coming from? And my metaphysical self is there to let me know this came out of nowhere. Okay, here I was just minding my own little black business, and then this person comes out of nowhere to just kind of start something. So one of these things that you need to kind of be able to do is, no matter who that person is, if they're bringing your frequency down, you need to cut them off, because there's so much stuff going on. You need to be in tune. And although that kind of thing is hard to deal with, especially when it's a family member, especially when it's somebody you truly love, you have to realize that they're not operating on that same frequency. And so things that you might tell them is going to go right over their heads. Things that you might try to alert them to, they're not going to be able to be alerted to it, because they're still on that level of dumb talking points. And I have to call them dumb because these are the same talking points people have been making for years and years and years, and it hasn't done anything to advance us as a people or as a country or anything. It just hasn't. So what we can do is we can kind of keep our frequencies high enough to be able to rise above some of this petty nonsense. And if people around you are nipping at your heels, trying to draw you into that kind of nonsense, do not go. You need to have your ears, your spiritual ears, and your spiritual eyes, and your spiritual mind open to be able to move at a moment's notice. Don't be afraid. Don't hide away. Do have a plan, as much as possible. You know what I mean? Like I said, nuclear bomb, all the soup in your cellar is not going to help, okay? But you should at least have some kind of something in place. But when all else fails, our Creator cares for us, has a plan for a good future for us. And as long as you do not run backwards, you will be fine. You will be fine. Even if you die, you will be fine. Get what I'm saying? Listen to what I'm saying. Hear what I'm not saying. You will be fine. If your heart does not faint, right? If your feet don't fail you, you will be okay. Don't be afraid. Don't let these little things, and I'm not calling them little, I guess I shouldn't say little. People being abducted is a big deal. Okay? We need to continually, without ceasing, pray about that. But again, if you notice, a lot of this stuff is being exposed. And that's why these other things are happening, to distract. That's why you're getting these CBD gummy commercials when you're not even looking for that kind of stuff. They're trying to get you high so that you'll just be out of it, just zombify you. But I'm telling you now, don't be afraid. Keep moving in strength. Keep moving in the knowledge that your Father has created a way of escape for you. And forget about what the naysayers have to say. They're naysayers. Okay? There is a good future for you. Just don't be afraid. All right. Shalom.